Yes, I will be recording this, everyone, and it'll get emailed out afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for joining on this Monday night in November. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's November already. My name is Joleen Hinks, and I am a nutritionist with Organica. And I'm super, super excited to talk to you about Power Your Everyday, discover the right protein for a stronger, healthier you. Protein is one of my absolute favorite topics because it's so important. And for many years, I have always been intentional, sorry, about my protein and really interested actually about protein and how to get enough during the day and learn about different sources. So I'm super excited that Organica has launched a bunch of new protein SKUs as well. And really, just to begin with, I'll tell you a little bit about our story. We're a Canadian company, and I'm super proud that I work for a Canadian company because we've been around since 1990. So, as you guys probably know, you have a lot of customers. You guys are customers, but when you're shopping, I myself have been pulled to Canadian brands. I was in a store not too long ago and I was purchasing something for my family and I saw something with a Canada flag and I didn't care if I spent, 10 or 20 cents more because I was supporting Canada. So I'm personally super happy that I work for a Canadian company and Organica is Canadian. So we have meticulous sourcing, mindful crafting, and the highest quality standards. We're a third-party ISO tested company, and we don't take that lightly. We're very, very diligent with all of our testing, and we have a lot of certifications, as you can see at the bottom of this screen. And I'm really proud to work for a company that has all these certifications. There's definitely lots more on our website if you were ever interested in diving in there. But the fact that we're Canadian and we do meticulous sourcing is really, really important. And you guys, as customers, probably love knowing that you can shop for products and have that trust. So we are leading the way with natural health. We are the number one recognized collagen brand in Canada and the top 10 recognizable electrolytes brand in Canada as well. So we're really growing. Our bone broth is also number one. And you've probably seen those little yellow tags on our collagen and our bone broth, which show that we're number one in Canada. So we're super proud about that. So, wellness may look different to everyone, and I'm excited tonight to talk about protein because protein's different for everybody. And Organica is a brand that it's not a one size fits all, it's wellness for everybody. So, whether you're vegan, an athlete, a new gym goer, or you've been going to the gym forever, Organica has something for everybody. So this is what I love about Organica, that we have so many different categories and we have so many different products that are just wonderful for everybody. So as I mentioned before, my name is Jolene. I'm a nutritionist. I've been with Organica for almost 7 years. And I'm really, really excited to talk about protein because it's really great for your essential wellness. It's a macronutrient. The macronutrients, we've got protein, we've got carbohydrates, which are two of the big ones. We also have our fats, but there's different types of protein. And I really want you guys to understand tonight how to choose what's right for you and how you can use protein to get more energy, to recover maybe after a workout, and just to feel good and have that glow. So, first, I'll start off with why protein matters. So, as I mentioned, it's a macronutrient and it's a foundation of every cell. And it's really important for muscle repair and recovery. So, if any of you have had a workout or you've done something new, maybe you're not a hiker and you started hiking or you did something different, usually it used to be the day after for me, but now that I'm getting older, I find it's like 48 hours after. I really feel the soreness in my muscles. And it's good to have, sore muscles because, you're working them, you're flexing them, you're giving them a workout. And you do some muscle wear and tear when you're working out. So protein is really important to repair the wear and tear after a workout, no matter what kind of workout it was. It's very good for recovery as well. Hormone and enzyme production, immune support, healthy hair, skin, and nails, blood sugar balance, and satiety. So The last point there, the blood sugar balance and satiety, um, protein's really important because it holds you over. And I think this is the root of our health. When you think about the path of food, so when you put something like water in your mouth, it goes through you very quickly. Carbohydrates go through your digestive system next. They're the quickest to sort of digest. So if you can imagine putting food in your mouth, chewing it up, digestion starts in your mouth. So you chew it up, you swallow it, it goes down your throat through a wave-like motion. It's called peristalsis, and then it goes down into your stomach. When the food is in your stomach, you have digestive enzymes in your stomach. You have lactase, you have protease, you have amylase, just to name a few. And those digestive enzymes sort of start breaking down the food. The food gets turned into something that's called a bolus. It's basically just a big ball of food. And the enzymes really start breaking down your food. And then from your stomach, it goes into your intestine. And then that wave-like motion called peristalsis again pushes it through your intestine and then out the bowel. So hopefully when you're eating, that from the time you put food in your mouth, the time it leaves your body, it's between 18 and 24 hours. So we're looking for a bowel movement every day. And that's kind of digestion's another webinar on its own, but I always like to describe the path of food because it's really important when I talk about protein and satiety or holding you over or keeping you fuller longer. So as I was saying, carbohydrates go through your system quite quickly, and next, protein, and lastly, fats. So, anytime we're eating, we want to make sure we're getting enough protein. We also want to make sure we're getting enough fat and fiber as well, because what that does is it slows down um, the insulin spike from any carbohydrates or sugars that we have. So, if you can imagine, eating a plate of food, you always wanna have, like, if you can do it in an order, if you have a little bit of carbohydrates, like some sweet potatoes or some potatoes, you've got some chicken, which is protein, and you got some good vegetables. I would always have the vegetables, the protein, and the kind of the more carby food last, because it really helps buffer that insulin spike. So, blood sugar balance is really important, so I will go into why in a few minutes as well, but I just want you to understand that protein is essential for balancing our blood sugar, and we want to be intentional with it every day. If people just switched their breakfast and they were intentional about protein, they would feel better for the rest of the day. A lot of times when we think about what time we go to bed and how we sleep at night, we need to start thinking about how we start our day with our breakfast. So a lot of people don't think about that. They don't think, why does it matter what I ate like 12 hours ago? Um, it really does because it has everything to do with blood sugar balance and how we feel. So how much protein do you really need? So finding that sweet spot, everyone says like, how much do I need? There's a general guideline, 0.8 to 1.2 kilograms per body weight. Back in the day, like I've been a nutritionist for almost 25 years. And I was probably in my mid 20s when I became a nutritionist. And the rule of thumb back then, and it hasn't changed much, was if you're pretty sedentary, you need about 60 to 75 grams a day. If you work out, maybe 3 times a week, approximately, you need around, 90, 100 to 100 milligrams of protein, or sorry, grams of protein per day. And if you were active, you walked in the morning, you got to the gym, you did something daily, you needed about 120 to 150. So again, it really depends on the person. And how you feel. But I can honestly say that when people look at their protein and say they calculate it, they really find that they're not even getting anywhere near enough. I know for myself, there's many days that I don't get enough, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my energy, and I can feel it in my fatigue. And I'm really trying to be intentional, and it really starts with your breakfast. So making sure, for example, 3 eggs, medium-sized eggs with the yolk always, you're approximately getting around 22 to 25 grams of protein. So that's wonderful. So protein powerhouse categories, as I was saying, sometimes it's tough to get protein throughout the day. Some days, I mean, I was traveling last week, and sometimes if I looked at, okay, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, how much protein have I had? There were some days where I wasn't near enough. but I do use tools that help fill in the gaps nutritionally, and they're also super healthy. So not all protein is created equal, but things like enhanced collagen, bone broth, and protein hydrators are really great ways to fill in the gaps nutritionally to get enough protein and support your nutritional side as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about enhanced collagen because it's such a wonderful product. It really helps radiate strength from the inside out. So it's not only great on the inside for your gut health, it's great for your joints, but it's also good on the outside for things like healthy skin, healthy hair, healthy nails, and joints. I'll share a story. So I used to play soccer in university, and I found that like in my late 20s, early 30s, I was always going to my chiropractor for SI joint hip stuff. And he would say that it was because I was my stronger foot was my right foot. I did a lot of planting on my left foot, and I was getting adjusted a lot for for my hip and my SI joint. And since I started taking collagen about 7 years ago, I have not had a problem with my hips. Like they feel great. So it's really important because from around age 30, the amount of collagen that our body produces starts to decline. So you really want to support your body with the collagen because it's not only good for your, hair, skin, and nails. Who doesn't want to have, great hair, skin, and nails? But your joints. Joints, it's all about longevity and quality of life. So it's really great for that. As I mentioned before, it's really good for gut and gut tissue repair. I have a friend, Christine, that I work with, and she has collagen and bone broth every morning, and it's her first thing that she has. I'll talk a little bit about bone broth later, but it's really great addition for daily wellness and beauty support. So we've got many different types of collagen. Some of you are probably familiar with our collagens. And as I mentioned, like we have something for everybody, especially when it comes to collagen. So um, it's fabulous. And I'll mention our original collagen. It's flavorless and odorless. And as I mentioned, after the age of 25, we really start to decline in the production. It's probably about a 1% every year. And you really want to make sure that you're including this. And it's so easy to do because you can add it to hot beverages or cold beverages. With the original enhanced collagen, it's flavorless and odorless. So I know people bake with it. People put it in their coffee. They make hot chocolates. You can really do anything with it. I personally put it in my electrolytes because it's super easy. But with the original, you're getting that benefit of hair, skin, and nails, and you're getting a type 1 and 3 collagen. So, and at Healthy Planet, they have our regular 250-gram tub, but they also have a bonus 950. So it's really good value, and it's a bonus size. So it really helps maintain elasticity and repair in your joints and your skin, but it's really your sort of easy go-to graceful aging and recovery support. It's got type 1 and 3 collagens. So type 1 is more for the outside of your body, hair, skin, and nails, and type 3 would be more your joint and your gut health. So in addition to all these benefits, you're also getting 9 grams of protein per serving. So, I mentioned about being intentional with your protein and finding tricks and tips on how you can get enough throughout the day. I'll use myself as an example. When I get up in the morning, I always have an electrolyte and I throw in a scoop of collagen, and I drink that on my way to the gym. And I usually try and go to the gym in the morning, and I start my day with 9 grams of protein. So I always have usually eggs and some vegetables mid morning, maybe around 10:30, 11 a.m. normally. And if I calculate how much I've had with that by 10:30 in the morning, I'm at about 35 grams. So I'm pretty good so far at 10:30 in the morning, just to give you guys an example. As I mentioned, you can use it in baking. People love to put it in smoothies or just make shakes on the go, like I said. Personally, I love throwing it in my electrolytes because it's easy. I used to do smoothies a lot. I don't do them so much anymore. I really just love the simplicity of having my shaker cup with an electrolyte and collagen. Um, we have an enhanced collagen pure beauty. So you guys have probably seen a lot of our collagens, and really depending on the person, This is a beautiful product. It's called Pure Beauty, and it's not just for women. I know a lot of men that use it as well, but the benefits that come with it is healthier hair, skin, and nails. You're still going to get the joint and the gut support from the type 1 collagen. But what I love about this is there's really hefty doses of some amazing beauty products. So 120 milligrams of hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is one of my favorite supplements that Organica makes because it's so good for your skin. It has it's viscous. So if you look at the little image there, you can see it's not just water. It looks like it's sort of viscous, like it's absorbing something. And that's what hyaluronic acid does in your body. It absorbs moisture. So I know a lot of skincare products have hyaluronic acid in it. I even have some that I use myself. But I learned a while ago that if you ingest hyaluronic acid, it's actually a lot better, which makes sense, right? If you're actually ingesting good nutrients, you're beautifying your body from the inside out. And that as a holistic nutritionist, that's what we always focus on is getting to the root of things. Okay, if you have dry skin or you have something dry in your body, what's the root of it? You need to add moisture to your cells. So hyaluronic acid is awesome for binding moisture, whether it's for your skin, you have dry eyes. It's also great for synovial fluid in the joints because it's very moisturizing. But women that are going through perimenopause and menopause sometimes experience dryness throughout the whole body. So it's awesome for women for that as well. But as I said before, it's also amazing for men. And it has 60 milligrams of vitamin C. So vitamin C has long been known as the anti-aging supplement. They call it facelift in a bottle. I've heard it called that before. It also has 46 milligrams of zinc. So zinc is wonderful whether you have, cuts or injuries or you just need great skin in general. Zinc has always been amazing for the skin and the immune system. And then 20 milligrams of silicon is very good for the skin as well. And because it's a collagen product, it helps maintain that elasticity and repair in the skin. So it's your go-to graceful aging and recovery support product. With this product, you're also getting 9 grams of protein as well. So I always say, what do you need at this time in your life? Like I think the original collagen is wonderful for everybody, especially after age 25. But you might go through periods of, I'm loving the pure beauty, and then you may have, an injury, or you might have, some joint issues that you're dealing with. Like I was speaking earlier when I used to have, the SI joint issue after I played competitive soccer. My son is now 20, but when he had an elbow injury a few years ago from hockey, I was giving him the bone and joint because the bone and joint is a collagen protein, which is they're all exactly the same as the original type 1 and 3 collagen, but some of them differ a little bit on the ingredients that we put in it. So the bone and joint is great for bone and joints. You're still getting the 9 grams of protein, which is amazing. But if someone, if you were looking for maybe some support with your joints a little bit more, it's fabulous for that because with this one, you're getting hefty doses. And it's really good for arthritis. It's really good for your joints because we've got products like M&M or MSM, glucosamine, and chondroitin in there. I said M&Ms. It'd be nice if it had M&Ms in there. But it also has products like vitamin C, vitamin D, which is great for bone health as well. And it also has something called K2. And K2 is a supplement that is fantastic, especially as we age. We're in what's called a calcium paradox right now, where we're consuming a lot of calcium from products that are not the greatest source of calcium. So you might go into the grocery store and see calcium fortified orange juice. I think I've even seen calcium fortified bread. So these are sort of the bottom of the barrel types of calcium that is marketed well in these products to help them sell, but we're actually not absorbing the calcium in these products. So what happens is they get absorbed elsewhere in our body, like um, in our joints. Sometimes people get gout. Sometimes too much calcium is in our kidneys and we get a stone. Sometimes we have too much calcium in our arteries and we have calcified arteries. So what K2 does, it takes that calcium and it drives it into the bones where it needs to go. So women, especially after age 45, really want to be intentional about K2 and make sure they're getting enough K2 to go and drive the calcium into the bones because of that calcium paradox we're in. I remember years ago, I haven't seen this in a long time. Gosh, probably 20 years ago, but I remember, I live in Burlington and we had billboards that would say, you know, calcium for your bones and everything, but what's happening for your muscles. But what's happening now is a lot of people are having a lot of issues with calcium. So the K2 in there is really great for driving that calcium into the bones. So anyone with bone and joint issues that really need to repair, restore, and rebuild, it's a fabulous product because there's hefty doses. If you look at supplements we sell on our own, like MSM, the hyaluronic acid that's in the Pure Beauty, we sell those products on their own. So you're getting a really good value for that. We also have a product called Full Spectrum Collagen 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. So this is awesome because it's 5 types of collagen and it's really, really good because it's powerful and it comes from Overderm and it's an ingredient that's from the eggshell membrane. So it's really, really good and it's really good for your joints. So there's 4 quality sources of collagen. You're getting the grass-fed bovine, you're getting cage-free chicken, you're getting wild-caught fish and eggshell membrane. So it's a fabulous product to further support bones, tendons, and connective tissue for healthier joints. So as you can see, we have a lot of products. Wellness is different for everybody. So some people are pescatarians, some people don't do bovine. They don't want bovine collagen, and that's fair. Maybe some people don't digest it or they just don't want it in their diet. So a marine collagen would be fabulous for someone that is pescatarian. And our marine collagen is from the Atlantic. It's Canadian sourced and it's from wild caught cod. So it's super clean. And again, you're getting 9 grams of protein per serving. So the marine collagen is very high in type 1 collagen. So it's really good for your hair, skin, and nails. And it's really easy to digest as well. And again, this one is flavorless and odorless too. So it's sort of an ocean-based alternative to bovine collagen. So it's really key for your hair, your skin, and your nails if someone was looking for that support specifically. So I love that there's 9 grams of protein per serving too. So again, you can put this in your coffee, you can put it in cold or hot beverages, but being intentional with your protein for me is eating good food. Food is foundation. And how can I fill in the gaps to support, my joint health and just my health in general and get enough protein. So collagen is a great way that I can do that. So I personally will take my collagen in the morning and my electrolytes before I work out, but I'll always do it again during the day. I take it twice. Um, Bone broth is another protein that is amazing. So bone broth is one of these things that have, they're traditional um, remedies that your grandmother's grandmother did. And I mean, I've been making bone broth every Thanksgiving and every Christmas since I've been a mom. So over 20 years. And I just love bone broth because it's very nourishing. I have 2 boys, they're almost 19 and 20 now. And when they were toddlers, I used to put bone broth in a sippy cup. It was lukewarm and I would give it to them because it was so good. There's so many minerals in bone broth, and it's made by boiling bones for 24 to 48 hours, and you're getting all those minerals into the broth. And then we strain it and we dry it as a powder. So it's very convenient. I mean, making bone broth twice a year is amazing. I love doing it. I do it every year. I just can't do it every day. So it's awesome. I mean, I mentioned I traveled last week and Healthy Planet has our beef and our chicken bone broths, which are fabulous. And they're really good because they're very nourishing, especially this time of year. We're in November. Bone broth tastes really good. It's really good to sip on. I love putting a little sea salt. Some people love kicking it up a notch and putting some garlic in there, some onion powder. You can go crazy. I usually just do some sea salt and it's great, but it's really easy to digest and it's a really good protein source. You're getting 15 grams of protein in one serving. So bone broth is a type 2 collagen, so very, very good for joint health, specifically cartilage and connective tissues. So it's a type 2 collagen, as I mentioned, so specifically supports cartilage, connective tissues, and joint health. So if someone wanted support for that, it's really, really good. I will mention, I mentioned to my friend Christine earlier, she has a bone broth every morning because it's so good for gut health as well. On your intestine, you have these villi, they're these microscopic hairs, and they move everything along, right? Sometimes when people are sensitive to gluten and things like that, it's because usually they have caked on gluten in the inside of their intestine, and that villi can't move everything along. So bone broth is really good for your gut health. So it's really good to support that. So not only is it great for your gut health and your joints, you're getting 15 grams of protein. So these are kind of like tips that you can use and get more protein into your diet and crowd out the junk. So everyone loves coffee or tea in the morning, okay? I do. I have it in the morning after I work out. I sidebar, I'm 50 this week, so I'm going through perimenopause and I have to delay my coffee about 45 minutes. I delay it about an hour and 15, because I'm A-type. But when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol spikes. And for women, um, if you can delay your coffee about an hour, it's wonderful because then your cortisol come back down. Some people get a bit of a spike from their coffee, but that's okay. You can enjoy your coffee. You don't want to be having 10 cups a day because it's very dehydrating. But just know that, after your morning coffee or your tea, or however you like it, instead of continuing to drink coffee throughout the day, I'd love to see people swap it out for a bone broth in the afternoon. Um, Even look at the types of drinks that you're drinking. If everyone sort of got rid of a lot of sugar that they get from just drinks alone during the day, we'd be so much healthier. And if we could swap some of those with protein rich drinks like bone broth or add collagen to electrolyte, we're filling in the gaps and we're doing it easily and nutritionally, and it tastes really good. So instead of having a coffee or tea at 3 o'clock, try a nice bone broth tea. Of course, there's lots more you can do with it. You can make gravies, you can make soups. My friend, he's a doctor and he has an air fryer in his office and he puts chicken thighs in and he has this mix. I gave him one of our bone broths and he has a mix of chicken bone broth and he puts like pepper and sea salt and stuff in a like container and he shakes it on and he puts the chicken thighs in the air fryer and he just gets a little extra minerals from the bone broth and a tiny bit more protein as well on top of the chicken thighs. So there's so much you can do. There's even savory lattes. So if you guys check our Instagram page, it's awesome for recipes as well. So and our website has them as well. But it's very gentle support for gut health, as I mentioned. So just know that you're not only getting the 15 grams of protein per cup, but it's really good for daily nutrition and really great for gut health. So because of those minerals like iron and potassium, they're really great. Um, Moving on here. Okay, protein hydrators. This is fabulous. This is a fairly new product, two products that we launched, and it's fabulous. It is a protein hydrator. So everyone's probably like, what is a protein hydrator? So protein hydrators are really a great way to kind of get some electrolytes, some collagen, some good minerals, some whey protein isolate, and 20 grams of protein. So this is fabulous because a lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to be working out, it's really good to have protein within 45 minutes of a workout, right? Because you have that wear and tear in the muscles. And if someone's a real high-end gym goer, they probably know they want to get that in within 45 minutes of a workout. So not to say that you can't have this anytime during the day, you can, but because it's 20 grams of protein and it's got the collagen in there, it's a whey protein isolate, but it's a clear whey, so it's really easy to drink. And sometimes with traditional whey protein powders, they're very thick, right? They're like smoothies or shakes. Traditionally, you have like a chocolate, a cookies and cream, or a vanilla. But this is a clear whey protein powder, so it's very clear. It's like a translucent electrolyte, so it's not as thick as traditional types of whey protein powders. And you're getting collagen in there, and that's from bovine collagen. And you're getting some magnesium, some prebiotics, and some prebiotic fiber, which is great. So this is a great way that you can get 20 grams of protein in and stay hydrated. So it's really good for fueling muscle repair and great for post workouts. So how do you choose the right protein for you? There's so many different types. As I mentioned, I'll use myself as an example. I do work out in the morning, and I think all those goals are my goals. But I really try and be intentional with my protein. So I always have a little bit of collagen in the morning with my electrolyte. And then I go to the gym. I'll come back and I'll have my coffee, and I'll always have some breakfast around 10:30, 11. And I usually always have eggs, because 3 eggs are approximately 25 grams of protein. I will put some veggies in there too, but if you can start your day with protein, you're setting yourself up for a good day blood sugar wise. If you can imagine going through a Tim Hortons drive-through, right? Bagel, chocolate chip muffin, um, coffee double double. What's happening with your blood sugar? You're going to get a massive blood sugar spike that's going to crash really quickly afterwards, and it's probably going to crash lower than where you started before you had that drive-through. And what that does is that makes our cells crave more sugar. So quickly after, usually within 60 minutes, we feel tired, hungry, and we're craving sugar. How you feel within 45 to 60 minutes after you eat tells you a lot about the foods that you're eating. I personally am super sensitive to refined carbohydrates. If I'm going to cheat or go out and celebrate, which everyone should, it's going to be dinner. Like I'll cheat and I'll have, maybe some refined carbohydrates, some cake if I'm celebrating, if it's someone's birthday or something like that. I'm going to do that at dinner because I'm going to be like pretty like tired. And I'm very sensitive to it. So I really try and be strict during the day and try and eat well, 3 meals a day, and or even 2 meals, 2 meals and a snack. A lot of people intermittent fast and do different things, and that's fine. All that stuff is great, but that's another webinar on its own, intermittent fasting. But if you can just be intentional with your protein for your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner, and then yes, everyone deserves to celebrate. You're going to go out, have that cake, enjoy it. The problem is people are celebrating breakfast, lunch, and dinner now, and our blood sugar is like a roller coaster ride, and we're storing that sugar as fat around the middle. So the more we can focus on protein, fat, and fiber, PFF, I like to call it, it buffers that insulin spike. So really be intentional with your protein in the morning, and it can set you up for a good day blood sugar wise. And then we're going to be fuller longer. We're not going to be gaining weight because we're um, producing a lot of insulin, and we're not going to be storing fat. So our energy will start to increase as well, and we'll feel better, and we will sleep better. When your blood sugar is all over the map, like on a roller coaster ride all day, you do not sleep well. Sometimes when women wake up in the middle of the night, they think, oh my God, I'm in perimenopause, whatever. Well, no, what did you eat today? And sometimes it's just having, 15 to 20 grams of protein before, not right before bed, but maybe, an hour and a half before bed, to help bring that blood sugar back to being stable. So that's the tip that I learned probably a couple years ago that I do, because I was waking up in the night, the classic between 1 and 4 a.m. But, really think about your body's priorities right now and choose the right protein for you. Like you can align it with your personal wellness goals. So whether it's, I'm not sleeping well, or I want to lose some weight, or I don't have enough energy, we have something for all of that. Maybe I want to build more muscle. I'm going to, trying to work out and build more muscle. We have products for that to support your wellness goals. So everyday protein tips. So small changes, big results. So as I mentioned, adding collagen to your morning coffee. I have here morning oats. I know a lot of people do oats and stuff like that. I put it in there because I wanted to mention, like, I'm not a huge fan of oats in the morning, because unless they're steel cut oats, they're gonna turn to sugar pretty quickly and get that insulin spike. So I would rather you put it in like a morning coffee or a protein shake or have some eggs and some collagen in a drink, and that would be ideal. Bone broth in soups or sauces you can do. You can stay hydrated by putting collagen into your electrolytes, or you could have something like a protein hydrator or an enhanced collagen plus electrolytes. They combine both the electrolytes and the protein in there, which is wonderful. The protein hydrator is great if you're looking for electrolytes and collagen support because you're also getting some whey, some clear whey as well. So that 20 grams of protein is really good after a workout. But the goal is to prioritize protein every meal, and consistency matters. You can't tomorrow wake up and say, okay, I'm going to try, what Jolene said. I'm going to have 3 eggs for breakfast with some vegetables. I'm going to have some chicken and salad for lunch. And I'm going to eat well, have salmon and an avocado with some veggies at night. And I'm going to fill in the gaps. And instead of having some juice and some things like that, I'm going to have a bone broth and have collagen in the morning. That's great. But if you only do it for one day, you're not going to see results. You have to be consistent. I love the saying, it's what you do every day that makes your health, not once in a while. So once in a while, cheat, go out, have the cake and ice cream, but every day be intentional with your protein and you'll really notice the difference, but you can't do it overnight. It's kind of like sleep. You know that saying, um, if there's one thing you can do overnight to improve your health, it's sleep. Sleep is like the most important thing. So just being really intentional about protein and knowing what products you can use is key. So I really hope in this webinar that you guys were able to get some tips. I will check the chat, but it's your turn to ask some questions. So ask away. And don't forget that if you want to try any products, you can shop the full collection online at Healthy Planet website, which is healthyplanetcanada.com. And just remember, like, wellness isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. So find a way that you can feel good and use products for your health, for your wellness, and most importantly, to fill in the gaps with protein because it's so key. Blood sugar is like the root of everything. So I'm going to say thank you so much. Here's to powering your everyday from the inside and out. And I'm just going to check the chat. This is recorded, so you guys will get a copy of this recording. So you might just see my screen switch over here. I know the lovely Paula was probably manning the chat, and I can see she's amazing. She was answering all these questions. Awesome. Thank you, Paula. Hi, David from Burlington. Oh, we got someone from Fredericton, New Brunswick, too. Okay, so please name some on-the-go easy protein items that we don't have to fix and prepare if you are lactose intolerant and pre-diabetic. I will mention that a lot of our products, I'll use the protein hydrator as an example. We have digestive enzymes in there. I mentioned digestive enzymes at the beginning that help break down food. So lactase is something that helps break down lactose. So we do have lactase in our all day protein hydrators, and those have 20 grams of protein. So those are amazing for on the go. Bone broth is great. Honestly, on the go, what do I do? Electrolytes, collagen, shake it and go with water. So that's my favorite. And sometimes, most days, I do it twice a day. So I'm just scanning here. Yep, and there are some that are specifically lactose intolerant as well, um, Julia. So you can find that most of them are like the protein hydrator is something that's new for us, and it's one of our first products that has lactose. Most of our products are lactose free. So you can just check the and you can see in the Healthy Planet stores. Paula's done such a good job. Most of these questions are answered. Yep, Greek yogurt is fabulous. I love adding even some chia seeds. Someone has here, they add Organica's enhanced collagen to it. That's awesome. My son does that. My son buys the yogurt with 20 grams of protein, and he adds collagen. So that's a great idea. And nuts and chia seeds would be great too. Okay. Okay, so there's a question about the someone asked about lead in some of the protein powders, which we heard on the news. And like we're aware of all the recent consumer reports regarding lead in the protein powders, but and it's concerning because it's in the news and people are worried about their safety. But as I mentioned at the beginning, our products are third party tested for heavy metals, including lead, and we consistently fall well below Health Canada's strict safety limits. So every batch of Organica's protein is rigorously third-party tested to ensure purity and safety, meeting or exceeding Health Canada standards. So you can feel confident that our products are clean, safe, and the highest quality. And like protein powders, we just launched some new protein powders. They're less than zero point 0.1 ppm. Um, so not even a concern. But I know it's natural to have concerns about that, but because our testing is so strict, you can be sure that ours are very safe. Okay, I think that's everything. I don't think there's any more questions. So thank you guys. I will end the recording here and you can look for this in your inbox. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for joining and we'll see you at the next webinar. Bye for now.